Hi, hello. So last time we left off with basically our fonts, and this time what we're going to do is actually use that font to represent some kind of score. And then we're also going to learn how to load sounds and use sounds. So first of all, let's get the easier thing done, and that's our high score. And for that, I'm just going to create a simple class, which is going to be called something like maybe high score. It just needs to be placeholder class essentially for our height score. And here what I'm going to do is create or rather export first class high score, and then I'm going to have public current score, which is of type number, is 0, and we're going to have private draw position, and here I use vec2 something like 1010, and then we can just say draw. This is really simple class. We're going to do that quickly, and then later on we're going to deal with sounds. So let's see. I'm going to use high score plus high score. I'm going to use sorry, we first of all need to actually use our font, which was, if you remember, it was in content. We have loaded this font. We're going to draw it here. And I'm just going to scale it because this by default it's too big. So I'm just going to scale it by half, and then we're going to use it somewhere in enemy manager. I guess I mentioned somewhere to do scores when we intersect with the bullet. So let's do that just now. Let's say private high score. We're going to pass it as a parameter to it, and then we can just say somewhere where we intersect a bullet, we know that our enemy is dead. We can increase the score. Finally, we have to go to main and actually create high score. Right. Import it. Paste it here. It should already work. We just have to draw it. We're going to get rid of this, and we're going to have high score and then draw. So whenever one of the asteroids or this thing is destroyed, our high score increases by 10. So that's it. If you want to have more advanced gameplay, I do encourage you to do so. This is just an example so that you can see how it works generally. And now we're going to cover sounds. And so how do we play sounds in JavaScript? Well, I'm going to use audio context interface basically to create audio context, and then to audio context we attach nodes which can represent our audio, right? So we're just going to have one context, and then to that context, from that context we can create our well, basically buffer source. We can connect nodes to it and therefore play sounds. It's a bit weird API, but once we do first sound, it's probably going to make sense. So let's actually do that now. Here I'm just going to create small class called sound, and then here I'm going to export that class sound, and for that let's go to our, I would usually create audio manager, but since I don't want to drag this too long, and I would encourage you actually to use something like audio manager maybe, but I'm just going to do it lazily in context for sounds. I'll just add here mark sounds. I'm going to create private static audio context, and I'm going to initialize audio context. So, and we're going to pass that audio context to our sound, which is somewhere here. So we're going to have constructor private audio context, and then also we're going to need data. So data is just going to be memory representation of our sounds, which are in bonus, and I'm going to use one of these two laser sounds. Maybe I'm not sure which one, but use whichever one you prefer. So we're going to get data as an array buffer, and then we use audio context. can say the code audio data, and we can just assign this to a buffer. So we're going to create private audio buffer, which is of type audio buffer, since this is actually async method. And here I'm going to use then, and we can say this audio buffer actually, right? When it's resolved, we assign that audio buffer, and here I can just say null, because it's not immediately assigned, it's async actually, therefore. And then we can have a public play method. So here, how do we use it? Well, first of all, create a gain node. So I mentioned that we use nodes, but actually we don't need it. This will be for our sound. For now we don't need it, so we create a buffer source to play the sound once. So we have our source, we create it from audio context, that's why it's important to have it. Then we need to assign our data. Then we're going to say source. We connect our gain node actually. So I do need that node to control the volume. Okay, gain node to control the volume. So we can assign some volume to it. We need to connect it to our audio context destination. Same with source, right? So we're passing actually here volume, and here we're passing data, and then we can just say source play or source start. That's it. And let's just have our public, maybe 0.5 is better value. You can just assign this order here, and then in our content manager we just need to load that sound and then use it. So we're going to have private static laser sound of type sound. We're going to have actually new method to load that sound, public or private static load sound path. So we just need path. So we can say, let's make it async actually. So first of all, let's await for our request. Let's get our buffer data, and then we can just create our sound. So this is the data that we pass, right? So we just get it from the request. And now finally I need to actually load that sound. So we have our audio context, and then somewhere here I can probably load that sound. This laser sound is assets bonus, so this is the wrong suggestion. And then it's called SFX laser 1 G. That's quite alright. And then finally in our enemy manager, if I ever find it, come on. No, actually our bullet manager, we can just say this content laser sound play, and it's probably playing now. So this needs to be public, but I'm just going to lower the volume because it's really annoying for me. I'm not sure if you can hear it or not. So 0.01. Alright, there was a bug here. I actually need to paste this gain node here. Otherwise, you want to get the sound correctly. So, alright, that's it for playing sound. It should work now. So, I still find this whole volume thing and how it works API is a bit confusing, but that's how it works via these nodes. So hope you understand that. If you wanna know it more, please do feel free to do so and research it a bit. So as always, code is going to be on GitHub in the description of the video. If you like the video, please like it, subscribe. You can also join the Discord channel, and next time we're actually going to do post-processing. So that's it for this time, and best of luck.